What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Truck Talk, brought to you by me, inspired by my man Chili. I've had a lot of people ask me to comment on the big cell phone outage that happened yesterday, and I was reading some comments online on this channel right here. One dude was talking about how he was going out to a job site, and his phone quit working, and he was just stuck. He didn't know how to get to where he was going, and he didn't know how to get back to where he had came from. And he said it made him feel really uncomfortable to come to the realization of how dependent he was on this little device that we have working and telling us where we're going and how to get places and feeding us all of this information and essentially making our lives more convenient. And so if you were part of that cell phone outage, you might have found or felt that same kind of, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit too dependent on this device. You guys remember back in the day when you used to travel somewhere out of town or travel somewhere where you didn't know, how to get there. It wasn't part of your local commute or in your local town. What'd you do? You did a freaking map study, right? You had to do a map study and figure out how you were going to get there, determine your route, and you kind of had to keep up with where you were turn by turn. We've lost the ability to do that. A lot of you guys don't even know how to read a freaking map. You don't know how to tell cardinal direction or use a compass, or you don't pay attention to landmarks and terrain features and things like that. So you're pretty much just lost all the time following where your screen tells you to go. That's a big problem. Now, I know some people, particularly one person that I know very well, who understands the communications, the cell phone networks. He understands the power grid and also the internet very well. He understands it at a very foundational level. And he's explained to me how these things that we've built our lives upon, these technologies, he's explained to me before how unbelievably fragile they actually are. See, we choose to live our lives thinking that the things that we depend on, the things that we've chosen to depend on in our day-to-day lives, whether that be internet or phones or whatever, we think they're never going to go away. And we choose to believe that, well, surely whoever's running these systems, surely they have some durability built into the network and some redundancy built into the network. And when someone who understands fundamentally how these systems work, when they explain to you how fragile they actually are, it's pretty astounding. When they explain to you how there is no redundancy, and how these networks are basically bottlenecked into these pinch points that if you or anyone else figure out where these pinch points are, you could basically take out the internet or communications to the entire East Coast with one simple step. And I think it's smart for us to be aware of the fragility of the technology that we depend on and start taking steps to become more self-sufficient and to start detaching ourselves from the need for the technology that we are so used to having. I think it's smart to do that. I think it's smart to start learning maybe how to read a map, how to read a compass. We teach that here at 307 Project. I think maybe it's smart to think about maybe buying you a piece of land. Maybe developing that into something that is at least semi-self-sustaining. Not only is that a fun thing to do, but it's probably one of the smartest things that you can possibly do for you and your family. Now, what happened to the cell phone thing? Well, apparently it was something to do with their coding or something. It wasn't a cyber attack or anything like that, apparently. They wouldn't tell you the freaking truth anyways. So not only are all these systems vulnerable to human attacks, but they're also vulnerable, as you guys know, to environmental factors. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a solar flare. That's a big concern. That's a real big concern. But nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. Nobody's preparing for it. Nobody's choosing to change things about their lifestyle to make them more resilient and less dependent on technology. So when one of these things happen, and when one of these crucial technologies do collapse, many of you probably won't make it. And you think you will, but you probably won't. If you don't prepare for the worst case scenario and hope for the best, still enjoy your life. I'm not saying be paranoid, but if you don't prepare, don't expect to do very well when one of these fragile things that we depend on in our day-to-day lives goes away for whatever reason. Just a little word for the wise there. Do with it what you will. Just telling you how it is. I love you guys. You're my fellow countrymen. That's why I get on here and do these truck talks. Because I want you to be resilient. I want you to be fit. I want you to be detached from the system. That's why I'm so offensive. I don't come on here to intentionally offend you, but I want to confront you about your complacency. Because you're my fellow countrymen. If you got anything out of this episode, go get you a hat, get you a t-shirt, keep my man Chili in the dungeon. Love you guys. Enough said.